Room still smells like yesterday. Your shadow's on the wall. I sleep on only half the bed, like you might still call. Your cup is sitting by the sink. I never moved a thing. I guess I'm scared if I clean it up, I'll lose what memories bring. I talk to you inside my head, like you're still listening. I practice all the things I'd say if you walk back in. They say that time will heal the pain, but time just makes me see that loving you was everything, and leaving's killing me. After you left, I lost my ground. My world went quiet, slow. Every song just breaks me down. Every place feels cold. You took the light, you took the best, left questions I can't mend. After you left, I'm still a mess, trying to pretend. I smile when people ask my name, like nothing's wrong inside. But every laugh feels borrowed now, every tear I hide. I see your face in crowded streets, and strangers passing by. It hurts to know you're breathing free while I'm just getting by. If loving you was all I knew, what am I now without? My heart still waits for someone who already walked out. I'd break again 1,000 times if it meant one more day. Some loves don't fade, they only change into a quieter pain. After you left, I learned to ache in ways I never knew. Every promise we didn't keep still feels painfully true. If you ever miss me late at night, when everything feels wrong, after you left, I stayed behind, still holding on. The room is quiet, but my heart's not done. This room still holds your laughter. I can never learn to leave. Your side of the bed is colder, but it still remembers me. I talk to walls like they know you, like they'll answer if I try. Every clock keeps moving forward, but I'm stuck on our goodbye. It's an empty room, full heart, trying not to fall apart. I packed away your clothes, but I couldn't pack the scars. I walk past all our memories like they don't recognize me. Love used to feel so easy, now it's hard just to breathe. It's an empty room, full heart, learning how to stand alone. I lost you in the silence, but I never lost kept building all our dreams while you ran out of time. I filled the gaps you left behind, called it understanding. I believed in what we were while you were barely standing. I thought love was patience, even when it was one-sided. I began where you stopped. I stayed when you were done. I fought for something real. You called it just for fun. I gave you all my truth. You gave excuses non-stop. I began where you stopped. You said you didn't mean to hurt me, but never try to heal. You left me holding promises you never meant to feel. Some love feels deep only because one heart is drowning. I began where you stopped, but now I'm letting go. I won't carry all the weight just to feel close. I deserve a love that tries, that meets me at the top. I began where you stopped. I won't finish what you didn't start. You said everything was fine, but your eyes told me no. I felt the distance in your touch long before you'd go. We laughed in all the right places, but something felt off inside. I kept ignoring all the signs that love was slowly dying. I wanted to believe your words more than what I felt. I finally heard the truth in everything you didn't say, in the pauses and the silence that never went away. You didn't have to break my heart or tell me what to do. I finally heard the truth, and it wasn't you. I try to be less complicated, try to not need too much. I lowered all my expectations just to keep your love. I called it patience, called it hope, I called it compromise. But love should never ask you to slowly disappear inside. I was afraid of losing you, so I lost myself instead. I finally heard the truth when love stopped feeling safe, when I was the only one trying to make you stay. I begged for honesty, but silence I deserve a love that chooses me in the dark and in the light. I gave you all the best of me, that part will always be true. I finally heard the truth, and I'm choosing me over you. I heard it at last. I gave you my softest parts, the ones I hide from pain. I trusted you with every scar you never tried to understand. I stayed calm when you pulled away, called it space, called it time. I was bending every rule just to keep you in my life. I gave you my softest parts, you held them carelessly. I loved you in the quiet moments, you never noticed me. I needed warmth, I needed truth, you gave me distance instead. I gave you my softest parts. Said you didn't mean to hurt me, but you never tried to change. You watched me fade in front of you and still walked away. Some love breaks, not because it's weak, but because it's alive. I'll stay real, just not misunderstood. I gave you my softest parts. I'll protect them now. Watched you slowly pull away, like I wouldn't feel the change. You say you just needed space, like love was something strange. I stayed calm when you were cold, I learned not to complain. I made excuses for your silence and called it growing pain. I held us together with my hope, while you let go in pieces. I kept believing we were strong, while you searched for reasons. I thought love meant holding on, even when it hurt this bad. I kept loving you, kept believing. Every time I tried to stay, I gave you all my honesty. You slowly walked away. I begged for just a little more. runs out of air, you stop fighting for forever when only one heart cares. I kept loving you, kept believing, but now I'm letting go. I won't chase someone halfway just to feel close. I deserve a love that stays and meets me where I am. I kept loving you, kept believing, now I finally understand. That was the problem. I used to fill the empty space with reasons you weren't here. I told myself your silence meant you still held me dear. I waited by the phone at night like hope would finally ring. I made excuses for your absence, called it everything. I thought love was staying still, even when it hurts to breathe. I learned to let the quiet go, the kind that breaks you slow. I stopped pretending loneliness was something I should know. I gave you all the patience I had left to show. I learned to let the quiet go. You said you needed time to think, I gave you all of mine. I lost the sound of my own voice, trying to be kind. I held my tears behind my smile so you wouldn't feel the weight. I stayed inside the in-between, too scared to walk away. I was afraid of starting over more than losing you. I learned to let the quiet go when words refuse to stay. I stopped waiting for a love that only slipped away. I begged for honesty, but silence chose control. I learned to let the quiet go. Some love leaves without a sound, it fades but doesn't fall. You don't hear the ending come until there's nothing left at all. I learned to let the quiet go and find my voice again. I'm choosing peace over the pain of loving you back then. I gave you everything I had, and now I finally know I didn't lose a love that stayed. I learned to let the quiet go. I let it go, and I'm okay. I held your hand while losing you, pretending we were fine. I felt the cracks beneath our feet, but crossed them every time. I told myself love needs patience, Even when it hurts, I gave you parts of who I was and put myself last first. Every sign was calling now, but I chose not to see. I thought if I loved you harder, you would stay with me. I let you go too late, when love was almost gone. I tried to save what wasn't real and paid for holding on. I begged the past to change somehow, but nothing stayed the same. I let you go too late. I stayed when leaving made more sense. I hoped you'd change in time. I learned that loving someone else can cost you peace of mind. I smiled through every warning sign, afraid of being alone. I didn't want an ending, so I ignored what I know. I was scared of all the silence, of starting something new. I didn't leave when I should've, because I still chose you. I let you go too late, when we were barely there. I held on to the memory while you stopped caring. I should have chosen honesty instead of quiet pain. I let you go too late. Some lessons don't come gently, they leave a mark inside. You don't forget the moment you finally say goodbye. I let you go too late, but I'm letting go today. I'm learning how to breathe again, even if it hurts this way. I loved you with everything, now I'm learning how to be someone who forgives herself for loving too deeply. Too late, but free. I fought for us in quiet ways you never seemed to see. I carried all the weight of love while you walked next to me. I planned a future in my head, you lived only today. I gave you reasons just to stay, you gave me reasons to pray. I thought love meant not giving up, even when it hurts this bad. I loved you alone while you stood halfway. I held on to everything you slowly threw away. I called it patience, called it hope, but now I finally know I loved you alone. You said you needed time and space, I gave you all I had. I broke myself in pieces, trying not to make you mad. You never asked how I was doing, you never felt the change. I stayed loved you alone. I won't do that again. I won't do that again. I won't do that again. I learned your moods by heart, the way you closed your eyes. I felt the walls you built before you said goodbye. I kept my tears invisible so you could stay at ease. I turned my needs into whispers just to keep the peace. You never asked me how I felt, you just assumed I'd stay. I slowly disappeared, trying not to be in your way. I loved you in silence, afraid to say too much. I gave you all my patience, you barely gave me touch. I stayed quiet to keep you, but lost myself instead. I loved you in silence. Some love dies quietly, without a fight. I loved you in silence, but I won't anymore. I deserve to be heard, not ignored. I'll take my voice back now, and everything I gave. I loved you in silence. Now I walk away. Silence isn't love if only one heart speaks. I learned your moods without a sound, the way you pulled away. I felt the change before you did, but hoped you'd choose to stay. I smiled through nights I cried alone, so you wouldn't feel the weight. I carried love in quiet ways you never seemed to see. I gave you more than words could say, more than you ever knew. I loved you more than you knew, more than I showed. I hid my fears, I hid my pain, so you wouldn't go. I stayed when loving hurt the most. I held on longer than I should. I loved you more than you knew. You said you didn't mean to hurt me, but never tried to stay. You let the distance grow between us, like my tears were far away. Some hearts give quiet choosing me over you. I watch the love fade in your eyes, night after night, little by little. We talk like strangers in the dark, saying I'm fine when nothing was simple. I kept believing time would heal what honesty refused to say. I stayed when every part of me was quietly slipping away. I was afraid of being alone more than I was afraid of the truth. So I held on to broken promises instead of letting go of you. I stayed too long when love was already gone. I gave you all my heart, you barely held on. I thought patience meant fighting, but I was wrong. I stayed too long. I learned your silence better than words. I felt you leaving without goodbye. You stopped reaching for my hand, but I still reached every time. I made excuses for your distance. I blame myself for all your doubt. I tried to save what you let die until I had nothing left inside. I kept hoping you would choose me if I just loved harder somehow. But love should never feel like begging or losing who you are. I stayed too long when you stopped trying. I carried all the weight while you were hiding. I mistook fear for loyalty. I held on strong. I stayed too long. Some lessons hurt in silence. Some scars don't fade with time. You don't forget the moment you finally choose your life. I stayed too long, but I'm leaving now. I'm learning how to breathe again. I'm finding solid ground. I loved you with everything, but I'm choosing me from now on. I stayed too long. I stayed too long. But I'm gone. I swallowed words I should have said so you wouldn't turn away. I learned to hide my hurting heart behind the things I didn't say. You never asked if I was fine, you just assumed I'd stay. I smiled like nothing was wrong while breaking every day. I thought love meant being patient, even when it cost my truth. I let you win every fight just to keep the peace alive. I slowly disappeared, trying to help you survive. Some love doesn't scream or cry, it fades in quiet pain. You don't notice it's dying until it's gone away. I stayed too quiet for too long, afraid to lose your touch. I called it love, I called it hope, but silence hurt too much. I gave you all my honesty, you never heard my voice. I stayed too quiet for too long and lost myself by choice. I found my voice in letting go. By the door at night, like you might change your mind. I told myself you'd come back soon if I just gave you time. I kept your side of every promise, even when you didn't try. I filled the gaps with hope and faith, so we wouldn't say goodbye. You said you weren't ready yet, like love had rules and lines. I stayed inside the maybe, while you left me behind. I thought love meant until you chose to stay. I thought love was waiting, holding on, standing still. I believed in all your words, even when they killed. I gave you all my patience, you gave me reasons why. I thought love was waiting, but love passed me by. Some love doesn't leave loudly, it just never arrives. I stopped asking for forever, stopped begging you to try. I learned that love shouldn't hurt, just to stay alive. I thought love was waiting, I'll take the lessons with me and leave the pain behind. I thought love was waiting. Now I'm choosing mine. Choosing mine. I waited long enough. Now I walk away. I stood right next to you, but felt a million miles away. I kept hoping you'd see me instead of looking the other way. I thought love meant patience, not feeling invisible. I waited for you to choose me like I wasn't already there. I stayed through every silence. You barely seemed to care. I kept believing someday you'd finally see. I waited for you to choose me. You loved me in the moments when it didn't cost a thing, disappear the second love asked you to feel something. I stopped asking questions, afraid of what you'd say. I learned that unanswered love still hurts the same. Some people don't leave, they just never arrive. I waited for you to choose me, but now I choose myself. I won't stand in the shadows or love somebody else. I deserve a heart that stays, not one that's out of reach. I waited for you to choose me. the sound of your steps every time you walked away. I told myself you'd turn around, that you just needed space. I learned to smile through unanswered calls and nights you weren't around. I kept believing love meant patience, even when it broke me down. I gave you time, I gave you trust, I gave you everything. I waited for a sign from you that you still felt the same. I waited for you to stay when you were already gone. I held on to every promise you stopped holding on. I thought love may never leave it, no matter how it felt. I waited for you to stay and lost myself. You said you didn't mean to hurt me, but you never tried to heal. You let the distance grow between us, like my pain wasn't real. I blame myself for all your doubt. I tried to be numb, I kept fixing what you broke and called that love. I was scared of empty rooms and learning how to be alone, so I stayed inside a love that never felt like home. I waited for you to stay when every sign said go. I loved you through your silence, you never wanted to know. I gave you all my heart, you barely felt the weight. I waited for you to stay. Some lessons come too quietly, they take years to understand. You don't forget the moment you finally choose yourself again. I waited for you to stay, but now I walk away. I'm learning how to breathe again. I'm stronger every day. I loved you the best I could. The truth won't fade. I waited for you to stay. Now I won't. I waited, but I'm done waiting. I counted days in quiet rooms with your name on every wall. I told myself your distance didn't mean much at all. I learned to read your silence like it was something kind. I stayed inside the maybe while you were already gone. You said you needed time to breathe, I gave you all of mine. I held on to your promises like they were written lines. I ignored the way you faded right in front of me. I loved you in the moments you stopped choosing me. I thought love meant holding on, even when it hurt to stay. I waited while you let go, I stayed while you moved on. I kept believing we were us when you were already gone. I fought for every memory you barely tried to save. I waited while you let go and called it love that stayed. After the truth came crashing down, I finally understood. You weren't afraid of losing me, you just never really could. I mistook your hesitation for something deep and true. I was building all our future while you were halfway through. Some love doesn't end in anger, it ends in being tired. You don't scream, you don't cry, you just stop feeling required. I waited while you let go, but now I choose myself. I won't beg for your attention or live on something else. I gave you all my honesty, you gave me reasons to stay blind. I waited while you let go, now I'm leaving you behind. I didn't lose you suddenly, I lost myself in time. I memorized the sound of your step every time you walked away. I told myself you needed space, that you'd come back someday. I answered questions you never asked. I felt the silence in your eyes. I carried us on tired hands and called it compromise. You said you loved me in your way, but never stayed to prove. I waited for your effort while you waited for me to move. I didn't see it then, but I was standing alone. I was loving alone, holding us together. I was fighting for a heart that didn't fight forever. I kept believing you'd come through, but I was the only one who tried. I was loving alone while you were saying goodbye. Some love feels warm at first, then slowly turns to cold. You don't feel the moment it breaks, you just wake up old. I was loving alone in a room meant for two. I gave you all my honesty, you gave me half the truth. I was loving alone, but now I finally see love shouldn't feel like waiting for someone to choose me. I'll keep my heart wide open, but never on my own. I was loving alone, now I'm letting go. I wasn't asking for too much, I was asking the wrong one. asked for too much when I only asked for you. I learned to lower my voice so I wouldn't sound untrue. I held my tears like secrets so you wouldn't feel the blame. I changed myself in pieces while you stayed the same. I was never hard to love, you just didn't try. I was standing right in front of you while you looked the other side. I gave you something honest, you gave me reasons why. I was never hard to love. You called my pain dramatic, said I felt things too deep. But love that doesn't listen isn't love you keep. I believed your version of me more than my own truth. Some hearts are gentle, not weak, they just feel everything. I was never hard to love, I was easy to lose. You wanted something simple, I wanted something true. I won't apologize again for needing more than touch. I was never hard to love, you just didn't love enough. I stayed soft, you stay gone. I still write your name in the margins of every thought I can't erase. Like somehow you might come back if I leave enough space. I practice conversations alone in case you ever call, but the phone stays quiet, like you never cared at all. They say you're doing better now, that life is treating you kind. I smile like that's good news while I'm breaking inside. I wonder if you ever stop to think of what we were, or if I'm just a chapter you already blurred. If you hurt me now, would you even care? Would you feel the damage of leaving me there? I'm still picking pieces off the floor somehow. If you hurt me now, I replay every last goodbye, like it might change this time. But